It's the Rock and Refuel Recruiting Roundup on Sports360AZ.com. I'm Jared Cohen, joined via Skype from Glendale Community College. It's Jason Jewell, as always. We've gone over all the players to watch, looking forward to the 2016 high school football season in our 13-episode Daily Dozens. That means there's a lot of recruiting news that we didn't get to the last few weeks, so we're going to do that today. Jason, let's get started. The most recent commitment, Chandler High School's wide receiver, Johnny Johnson.
Yeah, Johnson kind of shocked everybody. He committed early. I didn't expect this from him. He committed to UNLV. He was up to 10 offers now, mostly mid-major programs, New Mexico State, Montana, programs like that. But UNLV, they're on the up, they're on the rise. They're recruiting Arizona very, very heavily. Coach Sanchez doing a good job trying to turn that program around. Johnson was feeling them and committed to the Rebels.
Now, both in-state schools in the Pac-12 got commitments in the last couple weeks, Jason. Let's start off with U of A's commitment from Jalen Harris.
Yeah, I don't think this one surprises anybody because, Jalen's dad, played at the U of A, was an all Pac-10 guy back in the day, and Jalen had narrowed down to a top 6 and included Oregon and Texas A&M and Colorado schools like that, and he ended up picking, U of A, and could this be a sign to the future? Jalen's younger brother going to be a freshman over there at Desert Ridge, a big-time defensive end that has an offer from Oregon State. Maybe, the Wildcats land another one if they decide to offer him.
And it would be big for basketball, too. He's apparently a standout phenom basketball player, so it could help Sean Miller as well with that commitment. Let's switch gears over to ASU now. Curtis Hodges over at Mesa Mountain View pledged to them in Tempe.
Yeah, he's a guy that I've known about since he was a sophomore. He has big-time potential. He hasn't even reached his ceiling. A big-time wide receiver, 6'7", over 200 pounds, and also another guy that's good, a good basketball player as well that had Division I basketball offers. But he's a guy, a very high ceiling, and a good get by Arizona State.
And it seems like he turned the corner last season, became a little bit more physical with his size. That's what ASU found, and they're looking forward to next season. How about an offer, Jason, a significant one at that? We haven't talked about Tyler Johnson over at Highland and his recruitment in a while. He added an SEC offer.
Yeah, it's his 15th offer overall. He got one from Missouri. We've talked about him a lot. He's, a freak of an athlete, 6'3", 6'4", 240 pounds. And, you don't see guys playing wide receiver and returning punts and kickoffs that you guys are that size. It's just ridiculous, the amount of ability and the upside that Tyler Johnson has.
Jason, it is game week. Finally, it's crazy how fast it comes. It just seems like yesterday we were at the state title games. Let's talk about a few of the games on the docket this weekend, starting with one I believe you and I are going to hit on Friday night. Estrella Foothills going up against Tempe. Some really impressive defensive players on both sides.
Yeah, you look at it, it all starts in the trenches, and both these teams have very good pass rushers. We know about Mike King Johnson over at Tempe, had over 20 sacks last year, is a big-time player that has multiple offers, ASU, U of A, Oregon, Texas A&M, just to name a few. Then Estrella Foothills has a sleeper prospect in Malachi Wilkins, a guy that also knows how to get to the quarterback. Not as big. He's about 6'3", about 200 pounds, but he's long and wiry and plays with a high motor.
And then on Saturday, Jason, the Sullenberger Classic up in Flagstaff at Coconino High. I know you're making the truck up there as well. Two fantastic featured games going to be shown to us up there in Flag, starting with Pinnacle going up against Brophy.
Yeah, I'm very excited about this game. I was at the regular season matchup last year, which came down to the wire, so I'm expecting another big-time game. I'm looking at this game, and I see, two marquee tight end matchups. You got Dalton Cash over at Pinnacle High School, who has an offer from Idaho, and Matt Kempton from Brophy, he has an offer from NAU. So it's not very often you're going to get two Division I tight ends on the field at the same time.
Should be great energy in that game. I know they had a very exciting finish in the first round of the playoffs last year with that field goal that was just a little bit off for Pinnacle. So it should be a lot of fun. Storylines from last season carrying over to this season. And finally, the other game up at the Sullenberger Classic should be a heavyweight battle between two state champions from last season, Desert Edge going up against Centennial.
Yeah, what a huge game in week one for both these teams. Now both are in the same division, both in 5A, so a huge game, and it starts again in the trenches. Centennial, always known for having big-time offensive linemen, and big is right in their offensive guard. Andrew Ruel is 6'7", 325 pounds. What a monster. And then I'm going to call it Andrew Nichols, their defensive end tight end. He's a glorified offensive lineman in that running offense over there. He knows how to block, and he's one of the top recruited tight ends in the state of Arizona. But then Desert Edge on their offensive line, young kids. Got 3 juniors that have all been varsity starters for a long time, led by Max Wilhite, their center, who has an offer from New Mexico State. Then Austin Young at right guard and Tyson Jones at left tackle. Massive offensive line over there for Desert Edge, Rich Welbrock and the Scorpions.
You could just watch that game from just strictly the trenches and be thoroughly entertained. It should be a good one. That's Jason Jewell via Skype from Glendale Community College. I'm Jared Cohen. This has been the Rock and Refuel Recruiting Roundup on Sports360AZ.com.